The side missions in Arkham City. What a brilliant way to not just make the game open world, but to truly immerse you in an open world experience. It seamlessly weaves more villains into the story without disturbing the main plot, and as you know, I'm gonna overanalyze all of them. At first, I debated how I wanted to talk about each side mission. I considered doing the wheel again like I did in the Arkham Asylum tapes, but that felt like it was special format for those, and I didn't want to take the fun out of it. So instead, I decided to do kind of a tier list ranking each one. I'll start with the weakest ones, and I'll work my way up to the best of the best ones. Now, I just want to make it clear that these are just my personal opinions. Just because I rank it lower doesn't mean they're bad or not fun. They're just not quite as strong compared to the other side missions in this game. I'll analyze the mission first, then after, I'll give my thoughts about each one. Also, I'll be doing a mentions list for the side missions that are more in the background elements, like the AR training or the gadget upgrades. There's not much to analyze there, so I'll briefly touch on them once we get closer to the top. So with that said, let's dive in and start breaking these down. The bane of my existence. This little bear stuffed animal, or bunny, really reminds me of the teddy bear we see in the asylum, Osito, the one he had in the comics when he was a child. It's a subtle reminder that there's still a bit of that inner child in him, which is a great way to make him feel more human. It adds a layer of vulnerability to his character that we don't see at all, in my opinion.
Surprised to see me, Batman?
A little. Last time I saw you, you were wrapped around the hood of my car.
Love when Batman does an offhand remark like this.
I wasn't trying to. I'm in no mood for a fight. What are you doing here?
Dr. Young's Titan formula. The Payaso managed to send some off Arkham Island before you stopped him.
The mention of Dr. Young is really nice touch here. It's a great way to tie in Arkham Asylum. And then of course, there's the way he calls Joker Payaso again, just like he did or will in Arkham Origins.
I know. Penguin had his own Titan guards. How much more did Joker send out?
I really like this detail that if you find Bane after the museum, Batman mentions that Penguin had some of the Titan, referencing the fight we had with him earlier. Really love that.
Too much. That is why I am here. I will not allow the basura of this city to abuse the Titan. Dr. Young used me to create it. It is my duty to destroy what remains.
I'll help you, but understand this. If you try anything, I'm taking you down too. We find Titan containers, we destroy them. Deal?
Of course. Each container has a radio beacon built in. There were 12 containers left in this city. We take 6 each, then we meet back here.
I'm ahead of you, Bane. You find your 6. I'll take care of what's left. You've got some catching up to do. And remember, I'm trusting you. Don't make me regret that.
If you remember in part 2 of the Arkham series, I talked about how you can get some of the unique dialogue if you destroy the Titan container first, before meeting Bane. And you also get this dialogue too. Great continuity here. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I decided to switch up the skins throughout the playthrough just to keep things interesting. Let me just take a sneak peek under here to see where they are all at. But damn, I'm trying to, but your massive forearms are in the way, Bane.
Fixing it anyway. Titan. Seriously? You mean that stuff that the Joker was using back at the asylum? Yep, that's the stuff. But that crap turns people into monsters. What would happen if, the other psychos got their hands on it? Why do you think the boss wants us to keep this stuff safe? Stop anyone else screwing with it.
It's pretty cool that most of the henchmen know exactly what it is and what it does. It adds an interesting layer to the world building and shows that these guys are more familiar with the situation than you might expect. A thought crossed my mind when destroying these. I always wondered if Dr. Young would be pissed or proud of us for destroying these. Always just a thought in the back of my head. Not gonna lie, it's pretty creepy how Bane just stands there mean mugging you. Plus the fact that he follows you when you move around adds an unsettling touch to this scene.
I've destroyed the containers, Bane.
Good.
Give us the Titan, Bane!
Help me, Batman. We must not allow these puppets to take the Titan.
So fun fact here, if you tackle this mission before Protocol 10 in the story, it's the Tiger Guards who are after the Titan. It's probably because Hugo wants to experiment on the patients with, which is a very horrifying thought, but since I'm doing this after the main story, it's just a Joker henchman instead.
Damn, you're gonna die!
I guess confirmation that this is Bane's new home. It is pretty cool to fight alongside Bane here, probably the highlight of the mission honestly, but I was getting hit on purpose because I was trying to get Bane to say my favorite line.
Sorry, Batman.
There we go. Bane's fighting style is really funny with his hands on his side, acting like he's waiting for a hug.
I was saying, I've destroyed mine. I take it you've done the same?
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Translation is that I'm lying and about to betray you.
Titan is too powerful to be used against me. I needed it all for myself. Now, do me a favor and die!
Welp, saw that coming.
No!
I knew I couldn't trust you, Bane, so I used you instead.
What?
Simple. You rounded up the remaining Titan. Now, I can destroy it.
Stop! Stop! Please!
Am I the only one who feels like I'm edging Bane here?
I warned you, Bane.
Free me!
No. You'll get out. Eventually. I'm too busy to keep fighting you.
No!
Isn't this your house, Bane? Don't you have a key or remote access to get out?
Get me out of here.
It's that kind of attitude that gets you in these kind of situations.
If you don't open this door, I'll kill you too.
Will you really? See you later, Bane. Hopefully next time you'll know how to talk to a lady.
There's a reason she's one of my favorite characters all in Arkham. I don't think people are going to get mad at me for putting this at the bottom of the tier list since honestly, it is the weakest one in the game. Most of the time, I forget he's even in this game until I stumble upon the first Titan container. There just isn't a whole lot going on here. I do enjoy the conversation we have with him in the beginning, and the fighting alongside him is a standout moment, but that's pretty much it. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad side mission, just the weakest one in the game in my opinion. There's always two sides to every story.
Sweet home.
Wow, she's lucky to be alive from that. I decided to include this one even though it's not technically a side mission, but I wanted to share some thoughts on it, so I figured I'll put it here.
Is she dead?
Hang on. She's waking up.
Damn it, what are we gonna do?
Kill her again.
I don't think this henchman knows how death works.
Where are my things? Tell me, or I'll slice you apart, piece by piece.
Joke's on you, I'm into this.
So, you decided to come crawling back then, Harv. Pity. Oh well, time for this kitten to teach you some manners, once and for all.
Oh yeah, totally forgot Two-Face is in this game.
What the hell are you supposed to be?
Piss off!
Really? Okay, if you insist. Oh, I forgot to say, speak to me like that again, Penguin, and I'll show you just what it feels like for a poor little bird to be torn apart by a cat.
Please, don't hurt me! I didn't mean it!
That's much nicer. See? You can be nice, Oswald. See you around.
I love how Selena teaches most of the men some manners in this game. She is such a queen.
Pretty pleased with yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, don't think I've ever seen the boss so happy.
Maybe it's true. Maybe he really did kill Catwoman.
Bitch deserves it. You saw what she did to him in the court. It was only a matter of time before he got a little payback.
And all her money.
Yeah, that too.
I really have to say, it's odd how they wrote Two-Face in the story only to write him out and then essentially rewrite his role for this part. It's some bizarre writing, and I feel they could have done more with him, especially when we switch back to Catwoman throughout the game. Could have just become a constant game of cat and mouse. That could have been a really interesting dynamic in this story.
Deep enough to hold one big-ass shark.
Still can't believe Penguin's got a shark in here.
That's nothing. He also had some kind of monster under the Iceberg Lounge.
Monster?
Yeah, some giant dead-looking thing.
That is bull.
It's all true. Jimmy saw it.
Now I know you're making this crap up. Jimmy's a liar.
Well, I believe him. He used to roll with Cobblepot before switching sides and joining up with Two-Face. He said he saw it.
And where's Jimmy now?
The shark ate him.
How convenient. Next time you feel like wasting my time telling me about some fantasy crap, make sure the only guy who can back you isn't dead, okay?
Nice callback to Solomon here.
She won't dare come back here.
She'll come straight back here for her pretty little things, and when she does, I want you guys to blow that bitch apart!
For the longest time, I thought he was talking to his henchman the entire time until I just realized it's his two sides bickering. Also, his health bar is 2 different colors. Nice touch.
This is our chance for glory. Word is Joker's dead, and we all saw what happened to the runt that used to run this place.
Wow, word does spread fast around here. I was hoping for a better boss fight here, but after thinking about it, I honestly have no idea what else they could have done. I guess it kind of makes sense to make Two-Face feel like a joke in this scenario, but at the same time, it kind of sucks since he was such an incredible character from the start. A lot of missed potential with this character in my opinion. But apparently they fix him a lot in Arkham Shadows, so I'm excited to see where they go from there.
Oh!
Sorry, Harv. This really isn't your night, is it? Now tell me where you've hidden the rest of my stuff, or I'll even out the other side of your face.
I only took half. The rest I gave away. I win, bitch!
He really likes calling her that, doesn't he? Like I said, I just wanted to add this since I didn't talk about it in the main story. It's nice to see Two-Face again, but that's pretty much it. Plus it wraps up Catwoman's story in the game, so I guess it's just a decent ending for her arc. And not much more to say about it, so let's keep moving on. I'm as cold as ice. I will admit that the first time playing this, it was pretty tricky to find where Nora was.
How are we gonna decide who keeps the ice cube?
I wanna. It's my turn. You always get your turn.
How about rock, paper, scissors?
Can you even play that with 3 people?
Sure you can. Come on, let's do it. 1, 2, 3.
All paper. What are the odds?
Do I look like I went to school?
1, 2, 3.
Gun beats paper.
No, gun doesn't beat paper. Stick to the rules.
1, 2, 3.
What the hell is that?
Dynamite.
For the love of it. Again.
1, 2, 3. You sure this works with 3 players?
Yeah, go again. 1, 2, 3. I thought I told you, no dynamite.
What was this, best of 3?
This is gonna be a long night.
This is just some amazing dialogue from the henchman, man. I can't get enough of this stuff. Also, I do really like the detail when he says dynamite that he sticks his thumb up. Easy to miss. I feel that they need to make this Predator mode or something other than just a simple combat to make it a bit more memorable in my opinion.
Freeze's wife is safe. I should tell him.
Freeze's wife? Did that just sound odd to anybody else? Like, you know her name, Batman. Just some odd writing if you ask me. Really great touch that she does have a heartbeat and tells us that she's in cryogenic suspension. Also, her hair does seem like it's pulled back, which is a nice continuity because in Arkham Knight, her hair is still like that. Victor must have pulled it back at some point since in Cold Cold Heart DLC, it's down completely.
I found her, Freeze. She's safe.
Nora, where is she?
She was locked up in Warehouse 5B in the Falcone shipping yard. She's safe, Victor. You can go to her.
Thank you, Batman. I doubted you. I am sorry.
I love this. Not only that he thanks Batman, but also apologizes to him since he had doubts. Again, this is just super important going forward to their relationship in Night, and we'll see why when we get there.
A beautiful wife. I am so sorry for all that has happened.
When I first saw this scene right here, I legit had tears in my eyes. This is just so beautiful and heartwarming to see him talk to her and rub the ice. This is truly love if you ask me.
I told you I would find her.
Thank you, Batman. I am sorry I doubted you.
Just fix her and quit this life. You're better than this.
I freaking love it, man. One of the best lines and scenes in the game, in my opinion. Also, it's a cute detail that he's actually calm when he's with her.
Well, isn't this nice? I guess Batman found your wife after all.
Yes, my beautiful Nora is now safe.
So, is now a good time to talk to you about an idea I had to steal the Pharaoh's diamond from the Egyptian Museum? It's really hot there, and, well, all this latex really makes a girl sweat.
Leave me with my wife, Catwoman.
Just asking, Freeze. Just asking.
She was totally testing him for loyalty, and he passed. I was debating to put one in the third star here, but I feel like it was more of teasing than she actually meant it, so I'm just not going to. I have to admit, it's heartbreaking to put this towards the bottom, but at the end of the day, it really is a weak one. There's not much to do other than finding and beating up the henchmen. I really wish they added a predator mode, like I mentioned, to make it a bit more memorable as a side mission, but honestly, outside of the conversation between Batman and Freeze, there's not much to it. I get it, they had limited time to make this game, so it is what it is. But this does have a special place in my heart because I talked about how Heart of Ice is my favorite episode of BTAS. So if you want to check out that video, go ahead, click right here or after the video. But I do still love this mission, and let's keep moving on. Let me mark that phone number down real quick.
Speak.
Oh, Batman, you sound impatient. That is good. That is very good. You'll need that to solve my little game. You may have heard that I have been providing salvation to the mindless drones lucky enough to answer my calls.
Hardly salvation. You've been killing them.
That's a question of perspective.
Gosh, I always forget how creepy and disturbing Zsasz is. He's just so uncomfortable and just a downright insane human being.
For example, from where I'm standing, I can see 3 little piggies just waiting for me to cure them of life. From their perspective, I'd imagine they see things differently.
If you hurt them, Zsasz, I will hunt you down.
I bet you will. But first, a little game. Right now, somewhere in Arkham City, there's a phone ringing. I know it's a big place, but you need to find it. Take too long, and I kill these piggies. And don't try anything clever. I had a friend help me bounce the signal through every relay from here to Bloodhaven. You'll never find me.
I've always wondered if this friend of his was actually the Riddler, especially since we find riddles and trophies in Zsasz's hideout. It makes sense too, considering we all know Riddler has eyes everywhere. Just something to think about.
Now hang up that phone and start running. Ring, 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 ring.
I have to give them credit for how creative this side mission is. It fits Zsasz perfectly.
Did I ever tell you about my first kill, Batman? No? As I am sure you are aware, my parents were dead and I was rich. So rich I could have anything I wanted, but of course, all I wanted was them back. I now know that that was impossible, of course, that their death served a higher purpose. But back then, I had yet to experience the joy of cold steel cutting through warm flesh. I had no idea how I could save these people from the relentless misery of their existence.
You should have stayed that way.
Really? Then I'll stop now. Find another telephone, Batman.
Really interesting that Batman and Zsasz has a lot in common when it comes to their upbringing. Both experienced the loss of their families at a young age. Yet, here they are. Both of them with all the wealth in the world, and they both using their trauma in completely different ways. It shows they could have that unique understanding of what that loss could do to a person. Just great writing here. I wish they put the
ding 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 dong
as the ringtone at least once. That would have been amazing.
Find my phone, Batman, or the killing starts.
You can at least say hello, Zsasz.
You made it. I think I will continue my story. I feel the need to talk. To confess, maybe.
This isn't a confession hotline, buddy. This is Batman trying to track down your creepy ass.
I was rich and alone, but not for long, of course. I took to gambling. Or maybe it took to me.
Something an addict would say, but come on, Zsasz. Don't you know that 99% of all gamblers quit before they hit it big?
If only I had been good at it. I may not be where I am today.
So if you were better at gambling, you wouldn't be a serial killer? Did you ever try other hobbies like poetry or video games? I would have said art, but well, you're already into that in your own twisted ways.
As my life spiraled out of control, I desperately formed a plan. A plan to win back my parents' money and be happy again. It didn't work, of course. Plans like that never do. But as I stood outside the Iceberg Lounge on that hot summer night, I remember feeling something. Hope, maybe.
This reminds me of that saying, money can't buy you happiness. I used to disagree with that for many years, until I heard this. Money is necessary, but not significant for happiness. As I've grown older, I've found this to be incredibly true. Money makes things easier, but it doesn't necessarily make things happier. Take that with what you will.
Please hold for Mr. Zaz. I'm sorry, he's not available right now. You need to find the phone.
You can tell he's been waiting all day to say that.
The Iceberg Lounge was crawling with the disgusting flesh of humanity. You could find anything there. If you had the money, of course. At the beginning, I seemed to be winning. The cards all went my way, and I found myself at the owner's table. Some reason I thought I would win, that he would play fair. I looked around the table. I saw the people I was against. Card sharks, thugs, princes, and the disgusting midget who ran the place. One by one, they all lost or folded. The chips were piling up, and it was just him and me.
Kind of cool to hear mention of the Iceberg Lounge from someone else's perspective. Also, quit while you're ahead, Zaz. You are kind of stupid if you think someone like the Penguin is gonna play fair.
Zaz calling for Batman. Find my phone or I'll bleed this piggy.
Remember that line, because I think he does kill one of them. I'll prove it later soon.
They called him the Penguin, even back then. He had both eyes, of course. That little accident hadn't happened yet. And both of them were looking at me when I put down my cards. 6 of clubs. 6 of diamonds. He looked scared. He leaned forward and I could smell the cigar stench on his breath.
Kinky.
6 of spades and finally the 6 of hearts. I felt good. And then he started laughing. He belched out smoke and he put his cards down on the table. Card by card, my heart sank. A 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a damn 7! Straight flush ended me there. I was lost and thrown out into the city to die. Penniless.
Man, that vulnerability here is so real. Danny Jacobs is too good for this role.
Can you imagine what it was like, Batman? I was numb. I'd lost everything and I was alone.
You will be surprised, Zaz, how Batman relates to that more than you will ever know.
Crying like a baby staggering through the streets of this city until I found the answer that I had been looking for. I stood there on the Sprang Bridge, looking out at the sea. I felt the warm breeze on my skin, and it felt right. I looked down and imagined myself falling into the blissful arms of my mother. And then he appeared. He held out the knife and demanded my money. My money! Can you believe it? I looked into his cold, desperate eyes, and I saw something familiar. Something inevitable. I saw oblivion. I saw that we are all the same, stuck on a miserable loop that demands salvation. So I gave it to him.
Aw, you gave him a hug?
Find my phone, Batman, or the killing starts.
It sounds a little bit like he's singing here. Am I crazy?
Can you imagine the vagrant surprise when I grabbed his knife from his hands? It was instinctive. It was beautiful. In one movement, I sliced out his throat and gave him the gift of salvation. It happened so fast, but I felt every joyous sensation. The blood sprayed over my face, and I saw what little life was left in his eyes leave. But then it was over. I felt lost. Like it had been meaningless. That no one would acknowledge my sacrifice. And then it happened. Without realizing what I was doing, I plunged the knife into my forearm and cut deep. It was incredible. I felt my body elevate to a higher place. It had become a temple.
Gosh, he sounds way too excited here. Also, I always wondered if that knife he uses is the same one he stole from this guy.
Oh, this is a glorious day for you to die on. Mwah.
That's legit disturbing.
Soon, I will carve your life on my arm.
Well, these poor guys are probably going to need therapy forever after this experience.
I'm enjoying myself so much. I nearly forgot to give Batman another call. Come on, Batman. Where are you? Don't worry. He'll fail. Maybe this time, maybe the next. I can see it now. He's running for that phone. Desperately trying. Don't tell me you can't hear the phone! You're making me angry.
I really like how we see him start to lose it gradually as we get closer to him. It makes the takedown feel that more satisfying.
This is not over. It cannot be over. My blade will bathe in the crimson rivers of blood that will pour from the holes I cut into your body. You cannot deny me the mark. I need to make the mark. It's all I have left. I've saved a special place for you, Batman. A place to symbolize your death. Do you want to see? You are going to be mine. When you least expect it, I will be there, cutting flesh from your body, watching as your life slips away.
That being said, it's a bit disappointing that Batman doesn't have any final words to say to Zsasz. I was really hoping to hear Zsasz's final words, especially since we don't see him come back in the series. And considering Batman talks to everybody else he captures or after the mission, it feels odd that there's no conversation between him and Zsasz. I guess except for Deadshot too, to be fair. Remember how he said there are 3 of them in the beginning? So here's the body of the 3rd one. Pretty dark detail, I have to say. So I'm a bit curious to see how people might feel about me placing this mission in the middle. On one hand, it's a very creative way to incorporate Zsasz, but my fiance played this game for the first time a couple weeks ago and made a very good point. It's just so repetitive, and that's a fair critique, to be honest. There's nothing really different or challenging in this mission aside from the fact that you get less time with each turn. While that's tough for some players, they could have added a bit more variety, like henchmen guarding the phone or maybe a sniper to make it more engaging. I do really enjoy the backstory of Zsasz. It's a nice touch and a highlight of the mission, especially since he's barely featured in media nowadays, and the Asylum was my first introduction to him. For big Batman fans like myself, who care deeply about the lore, it's a really good story. But for just the average fans like my fiance, it might feel like a slog to get through. And I can totally understand that. I still think it's a good mission, not bad by any means, just repetitive. It's a fitting way for Zsasz to go out too, especially considering he was cut from Arkham Knight. But that's a story for another day. This might be a long shot, but it's worth a try.
What are you doing up here?
More importantly, how the hell did you get up here?
There's someone after me. He's trying to kill me.
Who?
I think he works for Strange. That bastard has me working on his damn tower for 6 months. And no sooner is it all operational, he has me thrown in here.
What were you working on?
There are a number of signal relay points around the top of the tower. The specifications...
The way the body just becomes a rag doll.
Need to set up a crime scene here. It's the only way to find out who killed this man.
I love doing these investigation-style missions. There's a reason he's called the world's greatest detective.
Alfred, take a look at the image that's just uploaded to the Batcomputer.
Is that what I think it is, Master Bruce?
It is. Deadshot is in Arkham City.
What's he doing there? Is he a prisoner?
It seems unlikely, but I'm not ruling anything out.
Well, that guy did mention that he worked for Strange, or at least he did, since Strange is dead now in my playthrough. But that still should be on the table, right?
So, it's the world's greatest detective versus the world's deadliest assassin. who's going to win.
Not him.
It's terrible. This guy just screaming in agony, and I'm just trying to listen to Alfred. I feel so bad for this guy just getting beat into a pulp. Oh my gosh, but I do love that line that Alfred says. That sums up the mission pretty much right there. And for the record, I did save the guy afterwards. Oh my gosh, that was really funny.
Get out of this place.
Really nice detail. You can hear the gunshot go off in the distance.
Deadshot struck again.
He's killed someone else? Listen, I know you don't want to hear this, but the people in there are all bad guys, right?
Some of the prisoners in here are not your typical bad guys, Barbara. There are a number of political prisoners. People who crossed Strange. Others who are tied into the mayor somehow. There's a pattern here. I just need to figure out what it is.
I'll run a trace on the latest victim, see how they're connected. What about you?
I'm going to check out the location he fired from.
It's a neat detail that Alfred is the first one we talk to, and then after that, it's Oracle, since she's now in the game after her introduction in the museum. However, I find it really out of her character to jump the gun and say, well, they're bad people, so who cares? Batman brings clarity by explaining that many of these people just crossed paths with Strange, but I still found it a bit odd in terms of her character writing here.
Shot left behind a tripod. Maybe it holds a clue about where to find him.
Plot twist, Deadshot was filming TikToks with his tripod, and it's all just a prank for Batman. If Batman was real, you know this would totally happen.
Deadshot made a mistake.
He did? That is definitely not part of his MO.
He doesn't know he made it. He used a tripod to steady his shot. The tripod has trace elements of a rust-like metallic compound. Wherever he stored his weapon must be made of that compound.
So what are you waiting for? Analyze the particles and isolate the area they came from.
This isn't my first day on the job, Barbara. The particles contain a small amount of a specific lead compound that was used in paints for a short period 20 years ago. I've isolated the possible locations, but there are too many to check. Deadshot's getting sloppy. If he makes another mistake like this, he's mine.
I love how Batman just gets snippy with her, pretty much telling her to shut up and let him finish. I freaking love it. I also kind of like how Deadshot was getting sloppy. It shows a bit of his cockiness in a way. Maybe he thinks he's too good for his tripod or Batman won't figure it out. I don't know, I just always thought of that.
Hey, sucker. Don't know, man. He was here when I got here. Someone knew who he was.
How do you know? There are dead people all over this hellhole.
This was an execution. One bullet to the head. Perfect shot.
Really?
What's so special about this guy?
The only thing I know is that whoever killed him will be long gone. People who do hits like this don't hang around to get caught. We should stay here. It's the safest place.
Man, some of these henchmen are smarter than they look.
I think I found the link that connects Deadshot's victims.
Good. He's killed again. We need to stop him.
The first two both worked for Strange. The first victim was a specialist in wireless broadcast technology. He worked on the tower communication system.
And the other one?
I can't find any information about what he worked on, which is suspicious enough if you ask me. But he was previously contracted on military projects, specializing in advanced weapon delivery systems.
Deadshot's clearing up Strange's mess. I'll track this shot to see if he left anything I can use to find him. Good work, Barb.
Once again, this shows how smart Strange was and how an incredible villain he pretty much was in this game, until they ruined him.
To make the shot, Deadshot would have been lying down. His body heat melted the snow there.
So he pretty much made a snow angel unintentionally.
We've got him, Oracle. I've isolated a number of very distinctive plastic-based particles and identified items that use this material in their construction.
So I see. Looking at the possible choices, I assume you've decided on the power substations, right?
Exactly. Cross-referencing this against locations that would definitely contain the metallic particles from the second crime scene gives us
3 locations. You've done it. You're actually gonna catch the son of a bitch.
I guess that's everybody's favorite cuss word in this game.
Substation to store his equipment and a PDA. It's heavily encrypted. I'll need to bypass the security if I'm going to find out any more about Deadshot and what he's doing here.
Why would he leave his PDA in there? Probably the dumbest move he could have done here.
This PDA was definitely given to Deadshot by Hugo Strange. It looks like he was smuggled into Arkham in order to take out a specific list of threats to Strange's position. Let's see. Deadshot only has 3 targets left. Jack Ryder, Bruce Wayne, and Batman.
Damn! He's working to a schedule. Ryder's his next hit. He's marked his current location. He's going to kill him in 3 minutes if I don't get to him in time.
Why did he say Batman and not me? It's interesting that there's a time listed here since we really never know what the game time is. They don't mention it except for here. Kind of funny how Batman just tackles him like a lineman in a football game.
We missed my target, Batman.
I love how Deadshot throws his gun down like a spoiled little kid who's sick of this toy. There's not too much to say about this one since I'm not even sure if this counts as a boss fight. It only takes one hit, but I think it's fine and I think it's pretty fun for the most part.
Think you can get to me? Many have tried. None have managed it.
Well, they must not have tried because this was such an easy takedown.
This isn't over, Batman. I swear.
Did you find Deadshot?
He's not a problem anymore. I'll let Gordon know where he is and come back for him later.
Overall, there's not much to say, but this is just a fun side mission. Simple yet keeps my interest with the detective work. It wasn't anything bad, nor was it anything incredible either, like some of the others we're gonna get into. If anything, I wish we saw Deadshot more, but we do see him in Origins, so I guess that's a fair trade-off. And I'm not even going to mention him in the other game we don't talk about, and Catwoman doesn't say anything to him. I tried, but no luck. Let's go pay a visit to the Stranger of the Night. Like I mentioned in the first part of the series, you can see him as early as when you walk into Arkham City as Bruce Wayne, which is a great detail lots of people may have missed. He remains calm the entire time if you were ever curious.
I've been watching you, Batman, to see if you are ready.
Ooh, I love it. Right from the start, he's so mysterious and intriguing. He really makes you wonder who the hell is this guy and why is he watching me? It's so simple, yet it pulls you in from the start.
We have been watching you for a long time, Batman.
It's like, who's they and why are they watching Batman? It's just so thought-provoking because all he's doing is giving us more questions the more we search for him.
Are you the one the prophecy spoke of?
Like there's a prophecy now? Just so mysterious. All you want is answers from this man.
The moment is close. The truth will soon be shown.
They wrote this character perfectly in this game. Sorry, I'm just fangirling over here. I'll explain why at the end. The Riddler wishes he can have cool puzzles like these.
I knew you would find me.
It wasn't hard. You left me a map. Who are you and what do you want? Why are you watching me?
We have been given many names, but you will come to know me as Azrael, loyal servant to the Order of Saint Dumas.
You're not the one from the comic book Nightfall, but I'm still game.
Bring a message. Dark days are coming, Batman. The prophecy is coming true. You are the warrior who will close the gates of hell. You are the one who will save this day. And in doing so, events will occur that you cannot stop. From the ashes of Arkham, the fires will rage and Gotham will burn. And you will burn too.
That's a pretty accurate description of what happens in Arkham Knight, I have to say.
I don't believe in fairy tales.
Believe what you will. The message has been delivered. We will meet again.
And it will not be in the best of effort. That's what the prophecy said too. But it is what it is. Okay, I'm gonna be a bit biased on this one, but fun fact about me, my first big comic was Nightfall, and I absolutely loved Azrael. I know he's a completely different character in that comic, but I still thought he was so cool, especially with him taking over Batman after Bane nearly killed him. His armored suit was just badass, and the whole idea of Azrael was fantastic. Honestly, I'm shocked they haven't made a movie about that comic yet. But anyway, when I first played this game and I heard him mention that name, it totally took me by surprise. It made me learn about this version of Azrael, whose real name is Michael Lane. He's just as cool as Azrael from Nightfall, but aside from my fangirling, this is still an amazing side mission because it leaves so many unanswered questions from him in this game. Spoiler alert, they kind of butchered him in Night, but that's a can of worms for another time. I think this is an underrated take, and honestly, I think this should have been his only appearance in the series. He could have been the Archangel, and that's it. It would have been such a fantastic idea and made this game feel even more special for that reason alone. But I'll dive more into that when we get to that game. For now, I love this mission, even though I know there's not much to do compared to the other ones we just did. But the story is so interesting and mysterious that makes it intriguing for me to look forward to this mission every playthrough. Also, I love games that start to give us an idea of what we can look forward to in the next game. It's a pretty damn good one.
More tea, Batman?
We'll go pay a visit to Wonderland and wrap up all the other incredible side missions next time in part 2. What's your favorite character in the side missions? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want to stay more involved in the community, I post regularly on the community tab about news on Batman media, fun polls, behind the scenes, and much more. So make sure you click that on the bell notification so you don't miss out. Also, why not subscribe and join our Bat family? Us nerds need to stick together. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Stay tuned.